we are saying is so beautiful. She won't be, so she won't be. And so many of them, because they're attached to their bodily concept of life, they think they want to hold on to it as much as possible. Then someone was telling me, maybe sometime last year, that a really famous model or a movie star committed suicide at the age of 30. Why? Because she saw some small line appearing on her face or something. I mean, did she expect it not to appear? Do we expect these things not to happen? Hasn't it happened to everyone all the time? But the most amazing thing is that we see, what is the most amazing thing? The Taj Mahal, or like the 7 wonders of the world? Some egotistical person may say myself. But what is the most amazing thing? The most amazing thing, according to the Mahabharata, is ahani ahani bhutani gachanti yamalayam. That so many people, the most amazing thing is that they're dying, they're seeing death all the time, all around them, but they still think it is not going to happen to me. Everyone sees death. Everyone has experienced some kind of death of someone we know sometime. We've experienced it. If we haven't, we will soon. I'm not trying to sound like a freaking nasty guy or something, but it's just the natural cycle of life. We see these things. That's the most amazing thing, though. We see death around us all the time, but we think it won't happen to us. Why is this the case? This is the case because we are constantly distracted from understanding the ultimate goal of life. You turn on the TV, how many channels are there? I guess there's no more channels. Now it's like Netflix and Hulu and how many shows are there on Netflix now? Any idea? You know? That's not good.
Probably like 700.
700 shows on Netflix. One? Way more. Okay, way more. 7,000 maybe. 70,000. 70,000 different ways of forgetting the ultimate goal of life. You read, you see, you look at the advertisements, you look at so many different ways to forget the ultimate goal of life. What is the ultimate goal of life? The ultimate goal of life is to be happy. But there's propaganda to show us how we can be happy, but then we go and we try the process of becoming happy. Ultimately, we feel like we're scammed. Ultimately, the people who are acting, who are doing all these things, who are promoting this product and that product and that product and this product, they're all miserable. They're all miserable. We can say that, yes, you can buy this energy drink and you always have to have like a young, beautiful girl, or a young, beautiful guy drinking the energy drink and looking all energetic after doing all these things, But, how much of that really works? Coca-Cola, right? What is, if there was no advertisement, if there was no Coca-Cola in this world, there would be no loss to this world. But how much advertisement is going on that, I remember as a kid watching this advertisement of Coca-Cola, and there's like this cool guy playing the guitar, and like all his family and friends, and they're all like treating him, basically like worshiping him, and it's all because he's drinking Coca-Cola, and the advertisement was drink a Coca-Cola and you'll be happy, and then we went and we bought Coca-Cola, I drank it, and none of that stuff happened, and I was really disappointed. Why? Because it's not what it seems. This material world is said to be like a mirage in the desert. The happiness that is promised in this material world is not different than our hope of getting water in a desert. It's simply a mirage. It's like the further, it seems like, sometimes when you're driving on the road, sometimes you see that and it's really, really hot, the road in front of you, it actually looks like there's water there. If we were driving through like Texas during the summertime, right? Like, what's that desert we go past? There's a desert we go past from LA, on our way from LA to Atlanta. Huh? Death Valley, right? So we were driving on that road or something like that, one of those roads. And then we could see that in front of us, it looks like there's water. And we think, all right, we're driving like at like 80 miles an hour, like 85, because you can go 85 on those roads. 85 miles an hour, and like we're driving 85 miles an hour, but it still always seems like it's just there, we're not reaching it. Like, what's wrong with this water? No, it's a mirage. It doesn't exist. And so many people die in the desert like that, I was actually seeing an interview of a devotee was telling me as to how he was distributing books in this, some man, dying man or fireman or something that happens in Las Vegas, something like this, and then some, Burning Man, right? And then, I'm really like bad with that stuff. So, Burning Man or something. And then he's in the middle of a desert and he was walking towards water. And he was seeing water, and and it was so hot that he was seeing the water, and he was actually seeing people walking from there. And then later on, like a devotee came and shook him and told him, Prabhu, you're actually like hallucinating. Like actually that's a mirage. You're actually thinking that it's there, but it's not even there. So that's the nature of happiness in this material world. People have to learn to understand that detachment from matter means that they need to attach themselves to something good. Yes, okay, no doubt. Eating a piece of glass is not good for you. Anyone will disagree with that? No. Does that mean we should not eat altogether? No. You just need to have a positive alternative. We need to be able to replace our things which are like poison to our senses. That's why it's called Vishaya Indriya Samyoga. It's called Vishaya Indriya. That senses is known as Indriya, and Vishaya is poison. So when our senses come in touch with these poisonous sense objects, then we naturally start to suffer the consequences of these sense objects. It's just what we experience time and again, yet we don't learn. All these things happen. Why? Because we don't have a proper understanding of what will actually bring us happiness, what will actually make us peaceful and happy. Like for example, there's one example. There is one person who was looking. He wanted to eat sugarcane. He wanted to know the taste of sugarcane. Wow, sugarcane! Everyone likes sugarcane. We get sugar from sugarcane. It's like the most addicting thing. It is delicious. You love sugar, I love sugar. I'm sure almost everyone loves sugar. Even those who have diabetes and who sugar will kill them, they all love it. There's like a certain class of Indians, there's a certain race, right? They're called the Gujaratis. They mix sugar in everything. Everything they make sugar. Even in the spicy food, they make sugar, a little bit of sugar. Everything they make sugar, And then almost everyone at the age of 60, without fail, when I go to give them some prasadam, which is like small sugar cubes, they say, sugar, I have diabetes. Why? Because they eat so much sugar the whole life, and they don't know when to cut down, and they end up getting diabetes. But still, they're like, I'll take a little bit, I'm like, I don't want to be the guy killing you and going to jail, man. Like, I'm not going to give you this stuff. But, they why? Because there's a lack of control of the senses, and it's just addicting, There's one person looking for sugar cane, he wanted to taste yummy sugar cane. It should be so good. So he went and asked his friend, hey, like, my buddy, like, how is sugarcane? Like, what does it look like? So the person said, sugarcane, it looks like bamboo. Right? Bamboo and sugarcane, they look like the same thing. So he said, wow, it looks like bamboo. Fantastic. So then they went and he started looking around, and he found bamboo, and he started eating bamboo, hoping that that's how sugarcane tastes like. But he never got the taste of sugarcane after all. So similarly, we are thinking that this body is going to give us happiness, that these sense objects, things made of matter, is going to give us happiness, and we're chasing after the mirage in the desert. Even if there is some, people are saying, come on, you're being too pessimistic. There is some happiness in this. There's something. There's a little bit of something. So there's a little bit of something, Small, like this, when we eat, we feel happy, right? Like when we're with our friends, we feel happy. And, all these things are there, there's these different elements may be there to give us a little bit of joy. But we actually find that all these things are also temporary, and even the happiness that they give are compared to finding, let's just say you're stuck in a desert, and you're saying, I want water, And then you say, okay, then a person comes, finally, I have some water I can give you. And everyone lines up. And he says, okay, you're thirsty? Stick your tongue out. Stick your tongue out. And they stick their tongue out, and he goes and he does like this and sprays some water for him to drink. Will this amount of water satisfy you? Will this amount of water satisfy anybody? No. But this is the happiness we receive in this material world. It's like a drop of happiness. It's almost insignificant. It's so little, like it's almost not there. That is the level of happiness that a person receives in this material world. And by Sankhya philosophical analysis, like we're analyzing now, we can analyze and realize these different points. We can analyze and we can look at it like this, we can look at it like that. And we can think about it, and we can try to understand intellectually. Because the minute a person understands things intellectually, they cannot actually be budged from what they're doing. They cannot be budged. Like so many people may actually come and try to convince us that actually, no, the car is not meant for driving, it's meant for drying clothes and washing clothes. So many people can try to come and convince us of that. But we are not going to be convinced of it because we actually intellectually convinced that, the use of the car is to go from one place to another. It's not meant to be used as a washer, a dryer, or like a stove or something like that. Actually, sometimes when it's really hot, you could like possibly make something on the thing of the car right there. But usually it's not recommended. Why? Because we intellectually have a conclusion. We have come to understanding that this is the ultimate purpose of the car. This is the ultimate purpose of the vehicle. So similarly, this human form of life is actually meant for self-realization. It's actually meant for attaining happiness. And this happiness that we experience in this material world is actually not real happiness. We've quoted this so many times, but it's a really fantastic statement in Srila Prabhupada's purport, and it's always good to fluff it out. Prabhupada says that the temporary cessation of misery is falsely claimed to be happiness, which means that because we are not miserable, we think we are happy. An absence of misery is what is causing us happiness. But that is not what real happiness is. Real happiness is experienced on the platform of the spirit soul. That's what real happiness is experienced on. This body is asat, it is temporary. This body is temporary. Things attached to this body are temporary. All these things are temporary. But the more we try to enjoy this world, try to experience happiness through this body, we will actually end up being miserable. The example is given that you cannot use a telescope to do the job of a microscope. You cannot use a microscope to do the job of a telescope. The telescope has its purpose, and the microscope has its purpose. And if you want to look at the star, you're not going to take the microscope and like try to do that. You will not achieve your goal. So similarly, this body is not meant to achieve happiness or attain happiness. The soul is not meant to experience happiness on the bodily platform or the material platform. The soul is meant to attain happiness on the spiritual platform. It's a very, very important point to understand that there is certainly a distinction between the body and there's a distinction between the spirit. That's a very important point to understand. So many diseases are going on, in this world. But the main disease that we all suffer from is a skin disease. We identify with our skin. We identify with our body. Now, we were speaking about this in Georgia State also. We are identifying with our skin so much, But then all of a sudden, let's just say, okay, my skin is blackish, But now there's that disease, again, I forgot what the name of the disease is, that you get it and all the pigmentation of your skin color goes away, right? What's that disease called again? One at a time, please. Vitiligo. Okay, everyone knows what that is. Vitiligo. Okay, vitiligo, everyone knows what that is, right? So, no, you don't know. It's basically a disease which comes and removes the color of the skin and it makes you look like a little patchy, So, if I were to contact that disease and that were to come and take out all the, I guess what people call the melanin in my skin, right? If the melanin in my skin were taken away by that disease, would I still be the same person? Yes. Are you sure? Yes? Please say yes. Okay, yes. Yeah, I would still be the same person. It's just that something went wrong with my body. My body looks like this now. When someone came and cut off my hand, will I still be the same person? Yes. This hand, please don't do it, but just think, like this hand, these legs. If it all goes away, I'll still be the same person. So which part of my body makes me me? Is it my hand? Is it my head? Is it like my hair? Because I know you're very smart, you attended all our classes, he's very enthusiastic. So which part of my body makes me be? My heart, sometimes people have heart transplants also, Still the same guy, right? So what part of my body makes me me? The answer is none of it. Because I'm not my body. That's a very important point to understand. Srila Prabhupada had these small kids, Vihan, come here, I want to do an exercise with them. So Srila Prabhupada went to a school and there were kids at the age of Vihan. So we say, Vihan, point at your head. Oh, you guys can all point at your head too. Point at your head, right? And you can point at your arm. You can point at your legs. But now you point at you. There you go, see, right? The way you point, you is, you're good, you did good. You can sit down. So you is in your, you is actually the spirit soul who is driving the entire body. The spirit soul. This is not a Hindu dogma. This is not some religious fanaticism. We are simply speaking what we can observe. This is Sankhya. We are simply analyzing. We're simply analyzing. We simply are seeing these things. So, if we analyze and we see, we will actually come to a realization that I am not this body. I actually have nothing to do with this body. I am somehow or the other, I'm stuck in this body, I'm stuck in the material world, and then for some reason, I'm identifying with things which have nothing to do with me to be mine. And the more I get attached to them, the more I suffer. You see? The more we are attached to this body, the more we will suffer at the time of death. Because many people think that they are this body, and even if they don't think that this body, they think that this body belongs to them. But actually, this body does not belong to us. We are not the owners of this body. We are the tenants of this body. We are the tenants of this body. We don't own this body. Just like you have a car, Do you own the car? Most people don't, right? They're still like paying off the, what's it called? Loan, not car loan, but it's like some cool word for it, right? Whatever. Like you're paying off your car loan. Do you own your, like Yeltsin, do you own your car? No, you don't own your car. How many people actually paid off their entire car in one shot? Like there's a few, okay. But most people, they don't, everyone has like a loan on their car. We can go and see also a person, he's renting a house. When the person is renting the house, he can stay there only as long as his contract says he can stay there. And if the landlord wants to come and kick him out after the contract ends, he can come and kick him out. There is no need for the landlord to come inside and give him another contract. It depends on what the landlord likes. So similarly also, this body that we have, this does not belong to us. This body is actually a gift given to us by Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the purpose of this body is to break us from the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. The purpose of the human form of life is meant for one to realize that they're actually part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. That is the purpose of the human form of life. When one understands a simple point, then one can actually go ahead and make genuine spiritual advancement. Many people think that, wow, the minute I realize I'm not my body, I've become really spiritually advanced. But no, we haven't even begun our spiritual life until then. If we are simply acting on the bodily platform, we are non-different than animals. Sometimes to call some human beings as animals is an insult to the animals, because we are acting worse than animals. Animals have some mating season, animals have some eating and all this stuff, very regulated. But human beings, no, anywhere, anyhow, no problem anywhere, But that is not what human life is meant for. This human form of life is very rarely obtained. This is an amazing verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Labdhva sudurlabham idam bahusam bhavante manushyam artadam anityam api hadira. Turnam yatetana patet anumrityu yavan nishrayasaya vishaya kalu sarvatasyat. This is a very important verse. And please meditate on this verse as much as possible. That after many, many births and deaths, one achieves a rare human form of life, which although temporary, offers one the opportunity to attain the highest perfection. Thus, a sober human being should quickly endeavor for the ultimate perfection of life, as long as his body, which is always subject to death, has not fallen down and died. After all, sense gratification is available in the most abominable species of life, whereas Krishna consciousness is possible only for a human being. So this point we need to understand. This point is so important to understand, that this human form of life is meant to attain the ultimate goal, to actually attain perfection. And it's possible to do so in this life. We don't have to go to the Himalayas and meditate for 50,000 years. We don't have to eat only leaves. We don't have to do all these crazy austerities. We simply have to follow the process of devotional service as mentioned in this verse that we were reading today. Consequently, the spirit soul has nothing to do with this material world. His action must be in some relationship with the Supreme. So everyone has some activities. Everyone has some actions that they do. Everyone is performing some activity all the time. That baby, he's walking, she or he, I don't know. It looks like a she. Baby is walking, he walking around doing thing. The child is doing his thing. The adults are doing their thing. But all these actions that we're doing, we need to actually do in connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We need to learn to dovetail our actions in Krishna consciousness. And by dovetailing our actions in Krishna consciousness, we will actually be able to spiritualize our body. We'll actually be able to spiritualize matter around us. We were telling Nally yesterday, like one of the most quoted verses that we have, or quoted quotes to Srila Prabhupada is, there's no love in this material world, love is for Krishna. And we say this over and over again. But then he was saying, but what about the love between devotees? Then I was telling him that about the love between devotees, the minute we actually feel love between the devotees or people who are performing devotional service, that love is actually on the spiritual platform. And therefore, when that is being experienced, we're not in the material world anymore. The process of Krishna consciousness is not right enunciation, but the process of Krishna consciousness is actually applied enunciation. How do you apply renunciation? Right enunciation just means you shut off your senses, you shut off everything, and you sit in a corner and you just meditate or do something like that. But real applied renunciation means to understand prapanchikataya buddhya hari sambandhi vastanaha mokshavi paridhyago palgu vairagi katyate. Which means that prapanchikataya buddhya, that a person who has intelligence, a person who's seeing things in the entire world, he sees things in their relationship with God. He sees their things in relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. He sees their relationship with Krishna and he engages those things in Krishna's service. If we don't engage these things in Krishna's service and simply renounce it for the sake of renouncing it, then what ends up happening is our renunciation is like the renunciation of a monkey. A monkey, he is also very renounced, You may have seen monkeys in the jungle. Monkey is very renounced, He is not wearing any clothes. He is sitting, on the tree, eating only fruits, looking very renounced, like a renunciate, very saintly looking monkey. But on the side, he has 1 or 2 dozen girlfriends. So many. He has one monkey. Monkey has 12 to 24 girlfriends that he enjoys with left, right, and center. So this is not the kind of renunciation that is actually promoted or encouraged by the Vedic scriptures. This is not the kind of renunciation that will actually help one get detached from this material world. What will actually help one get detached from this material world is applied renunciation, by looking at things as objects to be meant for the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. That we see that in this world, that's why, this entire process, there's so many different yugas. There's 4 different yugas. There's Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. And who, other than Vihan, I know Vihan, who knows what age we are living in right now? What's the name of the age? Kali Yuga. We're living in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, this is the age of hypocrisy and quarrel. In this age, actually, prayen alpaya, this is a beautiful verse, it's like negative inspiration, okay? So, prayen alpayasha sabya kalavasman yuge janaha manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya hyupadrataha. So, there is, okay. Then, O learned one, in this iron age of Kali, men have but short lives. They are men and women, sorry. Men and women have but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. Isn't this true if we were to analyze and see how our entire upbringing, the way we are, the way we've seen it, the way, at least I've seen it. People have but short lives. How many people we know are just dying out of the blue for no reason? So many people are dying, So many young people are dying. So many old people are dying. We have short lives. Quarrelsome. People almost are always looking for an excuse to get into fights, And you notice it on the roads if you're driving on the streets of New York. That's so obvious. You can experience how quarrelsome people are. If you're driving on the streets of Atlanta, you will see how quarrelsome people are. They're ready to fight for no reason. Quarrelsome. If people are not quarrelsome, they're lazy. Lazy to understand the ultimate goal of life, I remember, distributing books to a person. We were living in Harlem, right? We were from New York. We initially started off in New York. We were living in Harlem, and we distributed books to a guy who lives right next to us, okay? And he's super into spirituality and blah, 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 and this and that, spoke a big game. He bought the books. And we told him, every Sunday, 12 to 2, you got to come. It's going to be awesome. He said, man, I'll definitely be there. But he never showed up. I asked him, bro, why didn't you show up? I thought you were super into it. He said, yeah, I just wake up at 3 o'clock on Sunday. I said, 3 in the afternoon? Are you serious, bro? He's like, yeah, bro. Like Sundays, I'm like, are you that lazy? You can't wake up like 2 hours early? No, it's too early for me. To 12 in the afternoon. I'm not asking you to wake up at 12 in the morning, 12 in the afternoon. Like, I understand if I'm asking you to come at 7:30 or 4:30 a.m. Okay, I get it. Like, fine. But 3 in the, come on, you know. I remember distributing books in like this other music festival. And then it was like 5 p.m. and like the day was getting over, and I just met a guy and I distributed books to him, or like I spoke to him or something like this. And he said, man, I'm so happy. Like the first thing I'm doing, waking up this morning is I'm meeting you. I told him, bro, it's not morning, it's evening, bro. It's like 5 p.m. You know, what are you thinking about? But that's so, like, laziness is off the charts. People are so lazy, you know. Yeah, give the chair to that gentleman. Yeah, Prabhu, please come. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you know, people are so lazy. They're so lazy, you know. But let's just say some people are not quarrelsome. They're not lazy. But then if they're not quarrelsome and they're not lazy, they are misguided. You know, misguided, not quarrelsome, not lazy, but they are misguided. They are indoctrinated in a certain kind of educational system, which makes them completely have full faith in the falsity that they are this body. So many universities, so many departments of knowledge. Which university and which department of knowledge is teaching the difference between the body and the soul? Who is teaching that? Which university is teaching the difference between the body and the soul? That's right. Christian Life. But, you know, I'm talking about the other kinds, right? Yeah, educational system, they're being indoctrinated into thinking that, you know, oh yeah, we are this body, and like the ultimate goal of life is to pay your bills, right? The ultimate goal of life is to pay your bills, right? Please say no. It's really not. It's the ultimate goal of life isn't to pay your bills, you know. But the educational system makes one believe that that's the ultimate goal of life, right? You go to school. In order for you to go to school, you have to get a loan. You have to get into debt. And then you have to get a job to pay off the debt. So what is this? So what did you achieve? After like 30, 40 years of working hard, you paid off your debt that you didn't really need to take. You know? So what did we achieve really? What did we achieve? All we've achieved is a useless waste of time. You know? So we need to understand that, you know, even if we're not quarrelsome, even if we're not lazy, people are misguided. You know, they are misguided. Like they ultimately go to, like they may come, or they may even go to a person who seems to be spiritual, but completely scams them in the name of spirituality. Right? Completely scams them in the name of spirituality. They say this, they say that. They say, actually, no, you're your body. And, you know, if you have a certain skin color, you're superior to the other person, you know. We've suffered so many times before, you know. In different parts of the world, you know, different races suffer differently. Sometimes one kind of race dominates, another time another kind of race dominates. But ultimately, it's the same bodily conception of life. Let's just say a person's color is green. Another person's color is blue. And the green person hates the blue person hates the green person, and they hate each other so much. And then at the time of death, the green guy is thinking of the blue guy, and the blue guy is thinking of the green guy. And then their next life, that actually the green guy is born as the blue guy, and the blue guy is born as the green guy. Because they are meditating so much upon it. Hate is a very strong emotion, no? Isn't it? Isn't hate such a strong emotion? We feel it like really like a burning of our skin, practically speaking, you know. Hate is such a strong emotion. You know, it's so negative. So we meditate on it, then we'll actually end up becoming like that. So if one race hates another race, chances are in their previous life, they were actually hating the opposite race, and they became that race. Maybe it's like a truth bomb or something hard to swallow, but it's not. It just, you know, makes common sense. You are what you meditate upon. You become like that. You know, so many great basketball players, you know, like I know one, he called himself the Black Mamba, you know. Please don't do that. Like, what are you meditating on? You become the Black Mamba in your next life. Not very desirable. You know, so we have to understand that, you know, even if we are not quarrelsome, even if we are not lazy, we are actually sometimes misguided. We're misguided into thinking we're this body. Misguided into thinking that certain kind of race is actually spiritual and the other one is not. But actually, or even worse, the worst kind of misguided people are actually the people who, in the name of spirituality, they understand they're not this body, that the spirit soul, but they think they are God. That they think that actually I am God, you're God, we're all God, I am supreme, I am unlimited, I am all powerful. You're all powerful, very nice. I will throw a big rock at you. Can you hold it? No. You're all powerful, very good, So then you stand underneath the tree and I'll cut it and let it fall on your head and nothing will happen to you. These things, what happened to the philosophy? When we ask them to apply the philosophy, it does not make any sense. We think we're God, that means we must be all-knowing, right? God means all-knowing. You look at the dictionary definition of God. One of the definitions is they're all-knowing. But then you go up to God, and you meet him for the first time, and you ask him, sir, you're all-knowing, can you tell me my name? They don't know. Why you don't know? You're God, you're supposed to know. You don't know. If we simply logically analyze and look at these things, we realize how bogus these people are. Cheating in the name of spirituality. Cheating in the name of religion. You should love everyone. I know one person, it's all love, it's all love, it's all peace. But they hate a certain kind of religion. What sort of nonsense is this philosophy? If it's all one, if it's all one, and if you're God, and it's either people think they're God or they think that everything is one. If everything is one, okay, today instead of eating bread, today you eat glass. It's all one, right? It's all one. It's all one, it's all one. So I'm you and you are me. Yes, you and me are the same person. Then why don't you give me my wallet in your pocket? That time the all one philosophy goes down the drain. So we have to understand that even if people are not quarrelsome, they're not lazy, even if they're not misguided, sometimes people are just unlucky. They're just unlucky, everything is working out fine, But then something or the other happens, and then we actually see that, that their body may fail them, or for some reason they can't associate, with devotees properly. They can't do all these things. But then even if all these things are there, then they're always disturbed. The mind is always disturbed. They're constantly giving this and that and this and that. But if we are so fortunate to actually not be quarrelsome, which all of you seem to be, clearly you're not lazy because you're wide awake. All of you, that's really amazing. I'm doing pretty good, with the exception of one person, but I'm going to take exception to that. One person is not awake. So all of you are here, you're awake, that's fantastic. Quarrelsome, you're not quarrelsome, you're not lazy, you're clearly not misguided. You're coming, you're analyzing things with your intelligence. And you're not unlucky, and you're also not disturbed. Otherwise, how will you be able to sit like this in here? All of you have come voluntarily. So this is a very rare thing, actually. It's a very rare thing. How many people are there in Atlanta? So many people are there in Atlanta. But how many people are here right now? Maybe 50 people on the, Why not more people? Why not more people? Why? Because their good fortune, it needs to be arisen. And it's arisen when one actually goes and follows the process of Krishna consciousness and teaches others how to do so. We actually are seeing this over here, that, now we are analyzing, we're analyzing everything, all these things are there. But then the process of devotional service is the actual process of linking with the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. That's why in this age of Kali, which is quarrelsome and misguided and all these things, the Shastra says, Kale dosha nidhe rajan asti eko mahad guna kirtanat eva krishnasya mukti sangha param vrajat. That in this age of iron and quarrel and hypocrisy and all these things, there's an ocean of bad qualities. But there's one good quality. By kirtanat eva krishnasya, by performing kirtan, by performing glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by doing this kirtan, by glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then at that point of time, one will actually be able to attain their highest perfection. Kale was that Kalo naseva Hare Nama eva kevalam. Kalo naseva gatir anyata. That in this age of Kali, in this age of quarrel, the only way to attain self-realization is by chanting the names of Hari, and chanting the names of God. And the Maha Mantra, the most potent mantra. Maha means the greatest, and mantra means the transcendental sound vibration which liberates the mind from all kinds of bondage and attaches it to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. So the Maha Mantra of this day and age is actually right above my head, and you can please repeat after me. Please say Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the supreme mantra. This is the supreme sound vibration which helps one come in touch with the supreme personality of Godhead himself, because these names of Krishna are non-different from Krishna himself. And this entire process of devotional service is meant to help one attain this level of realization. One actually, see, ultimately happiness comes when there's people to be happy with. You know, the most kind of, one of the worst kind of punishments is actually solitary confinement. You know, you could have all the wealth in the world, you could have all the looks in the world, you could have all the food in the world, you could have all these things, but you can't share it with anyone, you can't show it off to anyone. Will you be happy? Because happiness comes from being with people. Happiness comes from hanging with your buddies, you know. There's like we were saying previously that, yes, I guess some people may think it's fun watching the basketball game by yourself, but isn't it more fun, like, you know, having all your homies over and, like, you know, like rooting for your team and like booing the other team or something like that? There's like more, you know, engagement. There's more rasa, right? There's more like things going on, right? You know, why? Because happiness comes from being a person. Happiness comes from having personal relationships, actually. You know, so ultimate happiness will be received when one has a personal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Krishna is our dearmost friend. Dearmost friend. Suhridam Sarva Bhutana. Krishna is the dearmost friend of all living entities. He's always with all of us in our hearts, no matter where we go. No, like, you know, he's always there for us, no matter how much we turn our back on him. Krishna is always there in our hearts, waiting for us to turn towards him. In the Mundaka Upanishad, there is an example given that there's the super soul, which is an expansion of Krishna, and the soul, who we are like two birds sitting on a tree. And the spirit soul, who we are, is trying to eat the bitter fruit of material existence. You know, material existence, the taste of material existence is very, very bitter. It's very, very bitter. We're trying to taste the fruit of material existence, but it's very, very bitter. But all the super soul is doing is waiting for us to turn towards him. And the minute we turn towards him, the super soul and the soul, they fly off and go to this nectarian tree where there's like, what's your favorite fruit? Does anyone have a favorite fruit? Yeah, go ahead, go for it. Apple. Anyone else? Mango, me too. Yeah, go for it. We only have 3 people who like fruits and everyone else hates fruits. Okay, whatever. You know, but you know, you can go and drink this nectarian juice of the Srimad Bhagavatam. One can actually experience happiness. One can actually experience transcendence on the spiritual platform, on a platform completely different from what we've experienced with our senses. And the process of Krishna consciousness is so wonderful that one can spiritualize their existence simply by following the process of Krishna consciousness. You know, it's very easy. You can chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And more than anything, one can experience Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One can experience God, Krishna, in the food that we serve out. Because there is one thing which actually spiritualizes material substances. And that thing is known as bhakti, or devotional service. Bhakti is not just devotion. Bhakti is devotional service. And not just devotional service to whoever, whatever, wherever, whenever. No. Devotional service to Krishna. That is bhakti. That is bhakti yoga. That is the ultimate yoga. Then this bhakti, when analyzed properly, when applied properly, gives one the ability to spiritualize material objects. Like this mic, you know. Usually, what are mics meant for? They're meant for giving us distractions from the ultimate goal of life. You know, people can sing songs about, you know, this world is so nice. Sweet home Alabama. You know, you can sing Sweet Home Alabama all you want. You may be in your Sweet Home Alabama as much as you like, but even in Alabama, there's birth, death, old age, and disease. New York, concrete jungles where dreams are made of. There's nothing you can do, right? Alicia Keys sings about it. But you go to New York, you know, it's a concrete jungle where nightmares are made. You know, one will actually see, you know, people are miserable like hell. Always trying their level best to like pretend like they're better than the person opposite to them or in front of them. But the level of frustration and suicide and all these things are higher there. Why? You know, why? Because they are focusing their minds on everything which has nothing to do with the ultimate goal of life. This mic can be used for so many mundane activities and mundane topics, but when it's used for spiritualized subject matters like this, and we speak spiritual subject matters like given in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and all the other beautiful books that we have, then this mic is spiritualized, this amplifier is spiritualized, this TV is spiritualized. You know, so many people, they come and they go from this temple so many times, they see us. You know, so many people have been here so many times. Did you ever come here and see us watching Netflix or the basketball game or the football game? No. What do you see us use this TV for? Yeah, that's right. Amal's got the right answers. Krishna consciousness, that's right. We use it to display these verses. You know, there is this really awesome series on YouTube. It's called Following Srila Prabhupada. You know, that's like, you know, y'all can look it up. You know, it's basically you just type following in the name of the author of these books. And you just see, just by saying that, you know, one can get so much spiritual realization. You know, on YouTube, my spiritual master, he has his YouTube channel called Bhakti Vikas Swami. You just type his name and you'll see, you can use your phone, use your TV, all these things to like hear spiritual subject matters. We ourselves are having, right, this media channel is what it's called Krishna Life Media. Krishna Life Media. You know, you can stay at home and then you can still listen to all these classes and have spiritual realization. All these things are there. So Krishna consciousness is actually the activity which spiritualizes material objects. It spiritualizes it. Hari sambandhi vastunaha. You know, that we see the relationship of material objects with Krishna. And that's actually the way one can be spiritual no matter who one is, no matter where one's from, no matter what race, no matter what this, no matter what that. So many puffed up people, you know, especially in India, some people, not all of them, some people, they feel like, you know, certain race, they are like, they are like so low and we are so high. But, you know, we go and tell them that actually, no, people over here are much more elevated than you can ever be because they understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They very simple-heartedly accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. They chant Krishna's names, they take Krishna Prasadam. And they actually are much more elevated than people who think they know so much like Vedas and all these things, but miss the ultimate goal of life. You know, so we understand these things because Krishna consciousness sees one's relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one is barred, no matter what sex you have, no matter what the color of your skin is, no matter where you're from, no matter what language you are, no matter what culture you're coming from. Krishna consciousness is universal. Krishna consciousness isn't a religion. Krishna consciousness is a way of life. And anyone can take to it. Anyone can take to it. You know, and attachment to spirit means attachment from matter. And there's a beautiful verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janadyat Yashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayada Haitukam. And it's 1, 2. Actually, like repeating the words of my spiritual master, we request everyone to please turn off their cell phones. Okay, so we see this over here. By rendering devotional service unto the personality of Godhead Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from this world. That we can actually see that just by performing devotional service, one actually experiences causeless knowledge and detachment. One actually experiences this, and you can actually experience, you know, one actually experiences, you know, Krishna in the food. And the more they're eating, the more people eat, the more prasadam I eat, I'm actually able to like understand, realize so many things because it's a matter of purification of the heart. We don't nullify our desires, we rectify them. Right? My spiritual master was telling it to my dear friend Brian. You know, he was talking about this, you know. And he was saying, oh, no, you know, I'm taking this path because, like, you know, I want to nullify my desires. And my spiritual master, no, better to rectify it than nullify it, you know. Desires will always be there. Desires will always be there. Some people say, no, desire is the cause of everything, so the way you can be happy is by not having a desire. But the desire to not have a desire is a desire in itself. Where do we go with this? Nowhere. You go nowhere. You know, so we have to understand these points. These are very, very simple points to understand. That, you know, simply by chanting Hare Krishna, by taking this Krishna Prasadam, the food that's offered, and by reading these books, one can actually become, by not just reading it, but also applying it in one's life, one can actually become a completely self-realized soul and go back home, back to Godhead in this life. One can actually become a master of their senses. Sometimes when we're distributing books, we go up to people like, excuse me, miss, you look like a yoga master, you know. But then, like, you know, then they say, oh yeah, actually I do yoga. And I say, yeah, you can actually become a yoga master. But real yoga master means Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchite. A person who engages their senses in the satisfaction of the master of the senses, Krishna. That is the way of becoming the greatest yogi. And a person can actually become that. A person can actually experience happiness on this platform. And you don't have to wait until the end of your life to experience it. No. You try the process just for 1 week. Try the process for 3 days. 3 days you try the process of Krishna consciousness and just see how much of a difference it makes in your life. We actually call it the Hare Krishna challenge, you know. Take it up, try it out. What's the difficulty? We've tried so many things in our life. Try Krishna consciousness, you know. It's serious, but it's also very happy, you know. It's a serious thing. You know, we are very serious about going back home, back to Canada, but it's very blissful at the same time. You know, nothing, everything to gain, nothing to lose, actually. So try it out, try out this Krishna consciousness, you know, and we can all start by chanting again this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Say Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, associate with Krishna himself, you know. Try it out, try it out, try out this food. Take as much of this food as possible. Just by taking this food, one can experience Krishna. So this is a blissful process of Krishna consciousness. Everyone can experience Krishna, no matter who we are and where we're from. So I'll end the class over here. If there's any questions or comments or protests, we can take them now. You can raise your hand and ask. Yes, Mother.
In reference to devotional service, is it mostly internal or is it external? Or
Both. Because, you know, many, you know, okay, for example, right? The husband and wife, they love each other. I love giving this example. They love each other so much, you know. And the wife tells my husband, I love you, I have so many feelings for you, you know. And she's a housewife, she's a homemaker. Actually, anyway, side point, many people think homemakers, oh, that means they have nothing to do. But my mom used to tell me, and I never understood until now, that a wife's and a mother's job is never done. Is she right or is she right? That's right. Her work is never done because she always has so much work going on in the house, right? So, you know, the wife's or the mother's work is never done, right? The guy goes, works, comes at home, relaxes, chills out, does all these things. The mom is constantly working so hard. Actually, women are working harder than the men, although it may seem like the men are going and getting the money and doing all these things. Actually, in the home, she's doing so much, you know. So my mom used to tell me, you know, that the woman's work is never done, you know. So the wife can tell the husband, honey, I love you so much. You are so beautiful and amazing. I love you. So I say, okay, thank you, and I really feel my love for you in my heart. The husband say, fantastic, you know, and he comes from work, and the husband is like, I'm really hungry, you know. She said, that's great, that's amazing. I just wanted to tell you that I love you. Okay, I love you too, but I'm really hungry. Yeah, I know you're hungry, but I really feel love in my heart for you. But I'm not going to cook for you. But I thought you love me. Like, yeah, I do. I really do. But like, love means you want to like satisfy me or help me, but like you're not helping me. Yeah, that's true, but I really love you in the heart. Is that a bona fide wife or a bogus wife? Bogus wife, right? Bona fide means, how do you translate bona fide? It means genuine. Right? Genuine wife. Bogus means everyone knows bogus, right? Everyone knows bogus. So that is bogus wife. So many people say, I had devotion in my heart. I feel it. Ah, Krishna, oh my God. And they do a whole bunch of drama. You know, we used to meet so many people, especially like we meet some Indians on the street, like, oh, I love Krishna. Oh, I love Krishna so much. And then we say, okay, you love Krishna. You know, we are having a beautiful temple of Krishna. Can you donate for the temple? Oh, no. Put your money where your mouth is. Come on, you know. But they won't do it. Why? You know, because their devotion is internal. But no, it's when you perform activities externally, you show your devotion for Krishna. You know, like the wife shows her love for her husband by by cooking, and by taking a love show, or like mom, like, you know, she shows her love for the kids by like cooking for them. Like, Mom, I'm really hungry. Great, I love you. You know, it don't work like that. Mommy got to cook. You know, if she loves the kids, right? So it's like that. You know, so it's both things, devotional service. That's why it's not just devotion. Many rascals, they just say bhakti is devotion. Devotion, just feel it in your heart, Feel it in your heart. You're really feeling, so much love for Krishna, and then you're also feeling so much love for your neighbor's wife also. That is called rascaldom, But, that's why it's called devotional service. We actually have to perform service for the pleasure of Krishna. Is that okay, mother? You come so many times, I don't know your name. Oh my God, Deja, we used to have a Deja here. You can be the new Deja. You can join the Matajis here. You can join them, convert her, recruit her. Just not kidding and not kidding at the same time, okay? So if you don't want to do it, it's a joke. If you want to do it, it's not a joke. So I work it out like that, okay? So you can be the new Deja, okay? Okay, and then we hope the old Deja comes back too. Yes? What do we expect in the spiritual world, right? So Srila Prabhupada was also asked the same question, and then he gave this really awesome example. So once there was a Christian preacher preaching to people working in a coal mine. There were people working in a coal mine. Coal mine means dark, dungeon, smoke. So then, he went, and the only enjoyment they used to have, is just reading newspapers or something, So the Christian preacher went to this place and he told them, you see, you better surrender to Jesus, otherwise you will go to hell. They say, really, give me a description of hell. How is hell? So then he said, hell is dark, dungy, very hot, so much smoke comes. And I say, how is it different? We are in the coal mine, it's the same thing for us. But then he said, in hell there is no newspaper. They said, oh, no, now we have to surrender to Jesus. So similarly, Tamal Krishna Maharaj also asked Srila Prabhupada, how is the spiritual world? How is it? What is it like? And then at that point of time, the youth of America, they were all being drafted and go to the Vietnam War, right? So Prabhupada said, in the spiritual world, there is no draft for the Vietnam War. And there is one does not have to go fight and kill themselves for no. Is that okay? And Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, yes, it's okay. So how is the spiritual world? Well, one thing is for sure, there is no birth, death, old age, or disease. That's very nice. Does anyone here want to get really old, decrepit, and have all the diseases that they possibly can? No? Yes? Anyone? Take it. Vihan, not you? Okay, nobody. No one wants to do it. Thank you, Ram. Thank you. Yeah, no one wants to do it. So in the spiritual world, there's no birth, death, old age, or disease. And if you really want to know, Ram, can you get me the third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam? Part 1, whichever one has chapter 15. If one really wants to know, one can read the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, chapter 15, and the title of this chapter is actually called Description of the Kingdom of God. And if y'all want, we can actually look at a few verses, right? And everyone into it? Yes, yeah, thank you. That's right. Let's go. Let's do this. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, chapter 15, title, Description of the Kingdom of God, and we can look at some verses. No, Canto 3. And see, hey, listen, we don't sell the third canto of chapter 15 by itself. Y'all got to buy the whole set. Okay? So where is it? I'm looking for... The description starts... Okay. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, you can please put it here. Okay, there you go. So... one thing we have to understand, in the material world, what are we suffering the most from? Anxiety. That's why it's called a kunta. And the spiritual world is called Vaikunta. Vaikunta means no anxiety. So Mataji, you face some anxiety in life just a little bit? Yeah? In the spiritual world, there is no anxiety. So over here, we see that in the Vaikunta planets, all the residents are similar in form to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They all engage in devotional service to the Lord without desires for sense gratification. In the Vaikunta planets is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's the original person who can be understood through the Vedic literature. He is full of the uncontaminated mode of goodness with no place for passion or ignorance. He contributes religious progress for the devotees. In those Vaikunta planets, there are many forests which are very auspicious. In those forests, the trees are desire trees, In the spiritual world, there's something known as Chintamani or Kalpa Vriksha, The Kalpa Vriksha, desire trees, whatever you desire, the trees will fulfill. And in all the season, they're filled with flowers and fruits because everything in the Vaikunta planets is spiritual and personal. In the Vaikuntha planets, the inhabitants fly in their airplanes, accompanied by their wives and consorts. You see, it's not just for monks. By their wives and consorts, and eternally sing the character and activities of the Lord, which are always devoid of inauspicious qualities. While singing the glories of the Lord, they deride even the presence of the blossoming Madhavi flowers, which are fragrant and laden with honey. When the king of bees hums in a high pitch, singing the glories of the Lord, there is a temporary lull in the noise of the pigeon, the cuckoo, the crane and the charvaka, the swan, the parrot, the partridge and the peacock. Such transcendental birds stop their own singing simply to hear the glories of the Lord. Although flowering plants like the mandara, kunda, kurabaka, utpala, champaka, arna, and all these other flowers are full of transcendental fragrance, they are still conscious of the austerities performed by Tulasi. For Tulasi is given special preference by the Lord, who garlands himself with Tulasi leaves. The inhabitants of the Vaikuntha travel in their airplanes made of lapis lazuli. Does anyone know what this gem looks like? Lapis lazuli is so beautiful. Emerald, everyone knows emerald, gold. Although crowded by their consorts who have large hips and beautiful smiling faces, they cannot be stimulated to passion by their mirth and beautiful charms. The ladies in the Vaikuntha planet are as beautiful as the goddess of fortune herself. Such transcendently beautiful ladies, their hands playing with lotuses and their leg bangles tinkling, and sometimes seen sweeping the marble walls, which are bedecked at intervals with golden borders in order to receive the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The goddess of fortune worship the Lord in their own gardens by offering tulsi leaves on the coral paved banks of transcendental reservoirs of water. While offering worship to the Lord, they can see on the water the reflection of their beautiful faces with raised noses. And it appears that they have become more beautiful because of the Lord's kissing their faces. You see, one can actually have a very amazing, intimate relationship with Krishna himself. We all like to have friends. Why not have God as your friend? You want to have homies, right? Why don't you have God as your homie, as your best friend? You want to have a lover? Why not have Krishna, God, as your lover? It's possible. It's possible in the spiritual world. It's possible right now. You want to have children? You can have Krishna as your child. You can play with baby Krishna. He's very cute. Actually, like my favorite picture of baby Krishna, painting of baby Krishna, is, let me see if I can pull it up. Usually when I need to find it, I don't find it. One can have these nice transcendental relationships with Krishna. Oh my God. Where is it when I need it? Hold up. It must be here. Yeah, there you go. So this is like my favorite painting of baby Krishna. Krishna looks so cute in this one. I always looked at this picture and marveled at it. I was seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes down like this and engages in this pastime. It's so awesome. It's so beautiful. Such a beautiful, baby Krishna. One can actually have a transcendent relationship with him. So, it goes on. And it is very much regrettable that unfortunate people do not discuss a description of the Vaikuntha planets, but engage in the topics which are unworthy to hear and which always bewilder one's intelligence. You see, not you guys. Those who give up the topics of Vaikuntha and take the talk of the material world are thrown into darkness of ignorance. And there's more, and we strongly recommend everyone read the Srimad Bhagavatam, buy the Srimad Bhagavatam, and distribute the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the most amazing thing. Going to the kingdom of God, going to Krishna, going to be with Krishna. It's the most amazing thing. Is that okay? Anyone want to go? You can raise your hands. You want to go? Okay. Most people, if y'all want to say, hey, we'll come and get you later. But, but it's nice. This is the place you can go. And it's a very nice place to go. So, anything else?
Is there also that tree with many fruits?
Yeah, it's all there. You got to go. Right? Yes, and also one important point to analyze that is that we don't see Krishna, especially in our conditioned state of life. We don't see Krishna with our eyes. We see Krishna with our ears. Because through transcendental sound, one can actually have experience. If you have transcendental sound, then you can, like a famous rapper said, you can realize the real eyes with your real eyes. So that time you'll be able to distinguish reality from illusion. No, no, you talk with your mouth. You talk with your mouth. Yes.
Make sure everyone understands your feet are nearly as beautiful.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? That's, yes, good point, you know. Then you'll be almost as beautiful as God himself. I think that's a good deal. Right now, like, yeah, I know. And I look at the mirror every day. You know, so yeah, you know, it's, I like, oh, thank God I ain't this body, man. But yeah, you know, it's really, right? Anything else? You lost your enthusiasm? You're raising your hand just now.
I forgot what I was.
That's short term. Okay. All right. Anything else? No? Okay. Okay, awesome. So now we're going to chant. You remember. What is it?
If you're chanting something, are you actually interconnecting with them?
Yeah, if you're chanting Krishna's name with proper attention and proper Shraddha faith, then definitely you attend with Krishna. You connect with Krishna. Even if you're chanting without faith, that's also fine. You know, it's a Maha Mantra, it's the greatest sound vibration. Associate. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukta Abhinatvam Nama Namino. And that this holy name of Krishna is not different from Krishna himself. So, thank you all for your kind attention. Now we're just going to get into teaching everyone how you can have your own personal time with Krishna. You know, if you want to have your own personal relationship with God, you know, you want to have your own, you know, like, you know, sometimes, yeah, you know, it's nice for people to be with, like, you know, yes, you know, the wife of a very great man, you know, she may be happy to see, like, the man being engaged with so many people, but she also wants to keep some time for just both of them, you know. So this, we'll teach you a method where you can have time with just you and Krishna, or you and Krishna alone. You know, that sounds amazing. You can be with Krishna himself by yourself. And, you know, we'll teach you this method of doing it. You can hold these beads like this. You keep the first bead on your middle finger and your other, and hold it with your thumb. And you chant the entire Hare Krishna Maha Mantra on one of them. And then you move on to the next one. You know, it's very easy to understand. We're only going to chant 10 of them. This is the ultimate perfection of meditation. Meditation on the transcendental sound vibration of Krishna. So we'll chant now, you know, and that mantra is right above my head. So we can chant together, and we'll start at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Little louder. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. So yeah, you want to keep going on? Let's go. You want to go? Yes, no, maybe show of hands. Who wants to keep going on? No peer pressure. Yes? Oh man, like majority. Should we do it? Should we just do it? We just have like 98 more to go. You want to do it? Say yes, come on. Okay, let's do it. Let's get into it. Vihan, control your monkey mind. Okay, so let's go. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.